look at the life and work of Walt Disney. And as with our other exhibitions, it's full of story and art and design. But unlike our other exhibitions, it's not about animation art, it's not about an artist, but it's about the titan of transportation, the train. So there's a quotation in the gallery that many of you are probably familiar with, but in imagining Disneyland, Walt said, "I just want it to look like nothing else in the world, and it should be surrounded by a train." The special exhibitions at the museum so far have focused on Walt's influence on film, on animation, on art, on artists, on culture. But this exhibition is different. It focuses on something that had an impact on Walt. Walt loved trains, tell from the smile and in the images, and he admired trains from a very early age. And trains for Walt represented something magical, as they do for many of us, whether it's romance, travel, exploration, adventure, or ingenuity. And this exhibition, which is brilliantly curated, thank you, Michael Campbell, and designed, it shows the impact of railroading on Walt's films, on the theme parks, and on his personal hobbies. And it also shows how Walt, in turn, influenced the perception of railroading. So I'd like to introduce our guest curator, Michael Campbell. Michael has many accomplishments, but among them he is president of the Carolwood Pacific Historical Society, and he's also board member emeritus of the Carolwood Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that, along with the Walt Disney Family Foundation, supports the barn at Griffith Park. And Michael has been incredibly generous to us in curating this exhibition, so it's my pleasure to introduce Michael Campbell.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Oh, you can do better than that. Good morning.
Good morning.
In 2008, I was deeply honored when Diane Disney Miller and her son Walter asked for my assistance in helping create the railroad-related exhibits here at the Walt Disney Family Museum. Since the time I had met her in the late 90s, I've always been fond of Diane. Over the years, I suggested all sorts of ideas to her. Some worked out well, others were well-intentioned, yet, shall we say, impractical. However, Diane was among the most kind and generous people I've had the pleasure to meet. She patiently listened to each one of my suggestions and supported a great many of them. However, like her dad, she had a very clear vision of what she wanted, and she was very plain-spoken in expressing her thoughts. Shortly after the museum opened, I suggested that we could stage an in-depth look at the effect of railroading on Walt's life and work. Everyone agreed that that would make for a fun exhibition, and it was discussed from time to time. You can imagine my excitement when this past May, Michael Labrie, the Director of Collections and Exhibitions at the museum, approached me and asked if I would serve as the guest curator of this exhibition. Tasked with such an honor, I decided essentially to step out of the way and let Walt Disney do what he did best, tell a story. He outlined our exhibition for us in his article for the 1965 October edition of Railroad Magazine. In much the same way that Disneyland physically places you within stories, my approach was to present the essential artifacts, images, video, and film that would help our guests experience and understand Walt's life as seen through the prism of railroading. Of course, Walt's legacy thrives today, so we attempt to extend the narrative that he wrote by exploring how railroading continues to manifest itself in Disney theme parks, videos, and films. Once the story arc was set, I began what I imagined might be an arduous effort of obtaining the key elements to help tell our story. In what I can only describe as pleasant astonishment, I encountered no resistance or bureaucracy at all. In fact, the exact opposite happened. All of the people and organizations that I asked to support the exhibition eagerly agreed, and they even offered additional ways that they could help. We encountered unbridled support from our friends at the Disneyland Resort, the Walt Disney Archives, Walt Disney Imagineering, the Walt Disney Animation Research Library, and Pixar Animation Studios. We would also like to thank Lionel LLC for sponsoring the family activities area. Simply put, this exhibition was only possible with their collective and stunning support. It's also important to recognize the remarkable contributions of so many others, especially Kristen and the professional staff of the Walt Disney Family Museum. I could spend the entire day thanking them and still not mention them all. I also want to recognize my fellow volunteers who gave and continue to give so much in support of the museum. This includes the Diablo Pacific Short Line, the Vargas Brothers, the Carolwood Foundation, and all the individuals who loaned art and artifacts, and of course, all the volunteers here at the museum. Ultimately, this exhibition is not so much about trains as much as it is about people. Don't worry, you're going to see plenty of trains. The very nature of railroading is that it's a shared experience. After all, what is a train except a method for a group of people to reach a common destination? By and large, railroaders are a good-looking and gregarious lot, happy to share their hobby with anyone who cares to join them. The story you're going to experience today is simply a reflection of that. How a railroader named Walt found a way to share his love of trains with the entire world and the people who made and make that possible. In conclusion, I'd like to return to Diane. She was often asked what her dad would have thought about this or that, and she usually said, "I don't know." Similarly, I don't know what she would have thought about this exhibition. I hope that she would have been justifiably proud of the fine work demonstrated by the outstanding team that she, her husband Ron, their children, Walter and Joanna have created here at the museum. I also hope she would have been touched by the outpouring of support by so many current and past cast members of the Walt Disney Company. But ultimately, though I don't know what Diane would have thought about the overall exhibition, I am adamantly convinced that had she been able to participate in it, she, just like her dad, would have made it better. It is with fond remembrance that we open this exhibition in honor of Diane and everyone who is not with us today, but who have made things better. Now, are you ready to see some trains?
Yeah.
That question was not rhetorically posed. Are you ready to see some trains?
Yeah.
All aboard! Thank you.